People who are motivated to do things. How the fuck do you do that? I've got terrible motivation, but I still manage to live a productive life. The trick I use is to eat the elephant one bite at a time. I.e., do one thing, which leads to another, which leads to another. Before I know it, I've accomplished the thing I had 0% motivation for in the beginning. The phrase, "fuck it, I'm just gonna go for it," has been life-changing for me. I deal with toxic perfectionism, which is incredibly paralyzing. Better to not do anything than do it poorly. Since I was raised by parents who had the mentality that if you were going to do something, you'd better do it right and put your best effort in, and get the good grades and be the best. It was exhausting. But then I saw a meme that explained that the "fuck it" mentality basically accepts whatever the outcome is. It doesn't have to be perfect. And if something is worth doing, it's at least worth doing poorly. And I basically got mad at everyone and at life. And now I'm going to do it. And I'll try to do the best I can. But it won't be perfect more than likely. But fuck it. My toxic perfectionism still causes me a ton of stress sometimes, while I also keep procrastinating on a lot of things that are important to me. I'm still trying to fully embody the just do it mentality. It's good to know that I'm not alone. At least. You're definitely not alone in this. Toxic perfectionism paired with procrastination defines my whole life. If I can't do it perfectly, I always felt like there's no point in doing it at all. Or I just give 0% effort, which I guess is pretty similar. At least our brain are procrastinating perfectly. It sees that as an absolute win. Whenever I tell myself I'll do it tomorrow, I'll ask myself what is stopping me doing it now. If the reason isn't really sufficient to postpone whatever I am doing, I'll do it now. I just don't want to though. Not good enough of a reason. Or so I'm told. Damn, what justifies procrastination then? Do I need to save a baby or something? Nothing does. If you're doing something more important, like saving a baby, you aren't procrastinating. I've told this story on Reddit before, but I will add it here again because it's relevant. My mother was one of those PhD students who just couldn't seem to finish. She just couldn't get the motivation to write her dissertation. After years she got so down about it. So frustrated she went to see a therapist. The therapist turned out to be very good, and over a year she managed to work out a lot of issues she had been carrying around starting from her childhood and going all the way up to fixing her failing marriage. But she still didn't progress on her dissertation and complained about it to her therapist. He said, "I can't fix that for you. You don't have a problem. You finish it the same way we all did. You put glue on your ass and you sit in front of your typewriter and you just write it." And, reader, she finished it. My dad tells me he wrote his dissertation on pure hate and rage. This is how I get through most of my grad school assignments. I've discovered a new kind of steadfast apathy that gets me through. Like, I'm just gonna bang this piece of shit out, and if you don't like it then you can appeal to the board to fail me. Or you could just give me a pass. Also, fuck you. Single quote. You want some words on paper? Sure. I'll give you some words. I know lots of words. I'll give you all the fucking words you want. Here's some good words. Oh, and look, here's a few more. Shit man. We just getting started. Words for days, son. Just all sorts of words up in this bitch. Words to the left. Words to the right. Single quote. I'm not motivated. I have to build up momentum by doing small things first. Like during the past couple months, my wife and I couldn't bring ourselves to clean the house fully. We picked up stuff and dishes, but there was no vacuuming or any dusting. Every time we got a box in from Amazon or Chewy, we would open it up and toss it on the floor with the excuse, "The cats will play with it." We were in a rut mentally from everything going on in the world. I woke up a few days ago and just started picking up and breaking down boxes. One thing led to another and the entire house was vacuumed and dusted and cleaned. Wife came home and was in tears because the burden of cleaning was gone. TLDR, start small. Make your bed. Clean the toilet. Do one small thing of a project and the rest should flow. At least that's how I work. Wish I got that level of appreciation for cleaning. Get mad. Anger fuels you to do anything. Make life take the lemons back. I don't want your damn lemons. I will visit life's manager. No sir. I can assure you there are no lemons in life cereal. Quote. When I started smoking grass, I didn't want to become a lazy stoner. So I told myself that every time I smoked, I would make a point of getting one productive thing done, do laundry, mow lawn, dishes, or other chores before I smoked again. Now I'm an incredibly high-functioning stoner. Hee high-functioning. I love stone chores. Some days I'll wake and bake, put on a stupid movie I've seen 1,000 times, and clean the shit out of my apartment. It took my BF years to accept I'm often more productive stoned even with non-chore things. It keeps the anxious voices in the back of my head at bay so I can focus on other things. I want to try this someday. Whenever I go to clean up, tidy up clutter, I get bogged down in whether it should be thrown out or not, and it seems like an impossible task and stresses me out. I'm pretty ruthless about throwing things away. It's one of my favorite things about me. I highly recommend it. Chances are you won't miss almost anything you're even considering throwing away. So if the question comes up, don't even think about it. The answer is always yes. Remove the decision. Commit and go for it. Your answer isn't getting enough credit. You school yourself to not ask, do I want to do this? If something needs to be done, you just start it. If desire is taken out of consideration, procrastination is a non-factor. I tried that, but still dropped out because I simply lack any will or drive at all. I only just recently figured out why this happens to me a lot. I've noticed that starting a task that is necessary but undesirable works best for me if I don't think about it at all. Because most of the routine stuff that I've done 500 times already take no effort or thought to start. This gave me the idea that it's actually like training a muscle. So I'm trying to approach it like a training exercise. Okay, I don't feel like starting the task, but by starting it anyway, I'm one step closer to retraining my brain. Also, my therapist keeps insisting that I need to pat myself on the back for starting a task I'm dreading. For working on any task and for finishing something. Whatever the result. Not just for finishing the task to perfection. She suggested I make myself work on it for 15 minutes, for the really bad ones that seem like mountains, and then I can take a break and reward myself. Sometimes those 15 minutes feel like walking in molasses. But more times I get into some kind of flow. But the idea that I am allowed to take a break helps. I will let you know when this all works so well that I don't procrastinate anymore. Should be somewhere around 2080. When I'm 104. Also, with my ADD meds it's a lot easier. I wish I had tried them sooner. I was 42. I will legit give myself an "Attagirl" out loud for like 30 seconds. Just self-praise for starting anything, but especially the things that are hard for me or that I don't like doing. For a lot of people, including myself, high productivity is driven by anxiety. We feel this compulsive need to organize, prioritize, and accomplish something as it feels wrong not to. Moments of stillness or tranquility are moments that could be spent achieving something. Benefit of this terrible mindset is that shit gets done. But we feel like we are dying on the inside. Many high-function people don't realize this is the case. I am aware of it because I burned out. Being mega-driven is a great thing when a proper balance is stricken. But I can guarantee that it is just as miserable as being totally unproductive. There is no happiness in getting all the tasks done. There is happiness in being perfectly content with whatever you accomplish that day. Allowing oneself to relish those sweet moments of placid tranquility, while in other moments exerting all of one's human potential towards a goal. Straddle the line, unclench the jaw, and enjoy life. It's too short otherwise. This is so bang on. I was like this most of my life until maybe 4 years ago. Then I burned out, took a leave from work. Relationship broke up, worked on a farm for minimum wage. Best year of my life. Now I still do the things I love, but I don't feel the need to test myself all the time. I do challenge myself because I enjoy it. But I also have more chill time. More lounging. Less planning. Life and mental health has improved significantly. I realized that life is much shittier overall if you don't try. I can observe my friends who are not motivated to do things, get a better job and do well at it. Learn new things. Clean the house. Work out, etc. And their lives appear less enjoyable than those people who are motivated to do things. Me and some other friends. Closing parenthesis. Even if you're forcing it at the start, being motivated to do things becomes habitual. And if you're enjoying life immensely, Why slide back into not doing stuff? Discipline. I'm not necessarily motivated to go to work. But if I don't, say goodbye to benefits and income. Agreed. Lots of people don't understand the difference between motivation and discipline. No one stays motivated forever. And that's when discipline comes in. Well, you got me there. I couldn't put into words why I don't act on my full potential. Unmotivated doesn't seem right. So I guess I'm undisciplined. That makes much more sense to me, and now I have a better idea on how I can make myself a better person. Thank you, friend. Folded hands. Just always do what you say you'll do. Don't leave it to mood. You'll wait your whole life to be in the mood to be the best version of yourself you can be. It's a lot of work. And it always will feel like it can wait. When my alarm goes off at 5, I don't decide whether or not I want to go to the gym. Spoiler, I don't. But that's when the schedule one made says I go. So I drag myself out of bed and go. I hate it when I start. But I'm always glad I went when it's done. So it is with everything hard. There isn't any other way to get the things you want to have done. Done. Schedule your time with your goals in mind. And then just always follow that schedule. No matter what. 4 hours of sleep. Go. Hungover. Go. Sick. Really. Don't go. That's just putting other people at risk, but make that the only exception. People who seem motivated all just have lists of things they promised to get done today. And they've cultivated the habit of doing everything they said they were going to do in a day for so long that the day would feel like an unmitigated failure if the list isn't complete. So in my experiences with depression and generally shoddy mental health, I've learned that not getting shit done, being unmotivated, is actually several issues masquerading as one. For the sake of simplicity, I'll break it down to 2 main categories. 1. Low generation of motivation. Everybody gets this at one point or another. But mental and physical health play a huge role here. Adequate sleep, a decent diet, as well as regular exercise all contribute to a bigger reserve of motivation in your day-to-day life. Depression can drain this to basically zero. So if that's something you might be dealing with, I highly recommend seeking professional help if that's financially feasible for you. If it's not, I recommend reading up on cognitive behavioral therapy, which is fairly self-driven. 2. Inefficient use of motivation. Don't waste your motivation. It's a limited resource. So budgeting your motivation is huge. Example, if you struggle with going to sleep on time because you stay on your phone until late, don't give yourself the option. Keep the phone charger in the kitchen. Your brain likes routine, so if you do the same things at the same time every day, they'll require less expenditure. Try taking stock of how frequently you have to use discipline in your day-to-day life. Now this all quite easily said, but practicing it is of course a wholly different story. But like anything, the more you practice, the easier it gets. Best of luck. Agree on the depression part. Currently at an all-time low by this fucking illness. Don't have the financial income to get therapy. Will read upon CBT. Have nothing better to do, and reading everything else here just made me more depressed. Spite and blind rage mostly. Like as soon as someone says, "You won't do that," I get up and do it while glaring at them. I know if I get one small thing done, then that will put me in the mood to get a bunch of other things done. For all his pseudo-intellectual nonsense, Jordan Peterson's "Make Your Bed" lesson is a good one. I don't necessarily mean making the bed is what gets me started. The dog refuses to get up before 11 a.m. so I can't. But one small win gets me on a roll. It's similar to the debt snowball. The big thing is daunting and we're just hardwired to give up if the end result is so far away. So many people give up on playing instruments because it takes a while and work to actually sound good. The right approach isn't looking for the destination, but to break things up into smaller goals or to go after the smaller stuff first. Learning an instrument is actually the only single thing where I showed discipline. Lol. I've always had motivation issues. I could always start something, but would taper off after a few weeks. Why am I succeeding now? Because of loss. Because I've lost something and I blame myself. And I don't want to feel that loss again. I know if I was better, if I was a better man, I wouldn't have lost what I did. I used to use the idea of happiness as a motivating impulse. But honestly, it doesn't take a lot to be happy. And to turn that happiness into contentness is even easier. It's easy to lower expectations and to just settle for what you got. So I'm using the feeling of defeat as motivation. I don't want to feel defeated anymore. I only want to succeed from now on. So no matter how happy I get or how empowered I feel, I think back to the time where I was content with my standing in life. And then I lost. Every time I run and want to slow down, I think about how I slowed down before. Every time I want to sleep in and not make my bed, I remind myself of what happened when I did that before. When I look at my career, my education, my desires, my passions, every time I've settled for less, these shortcomings created losses in my life. And I don't want to suffer that anymore. I'm going to be a better man now. I'm not going to settle. And I'm damn sure not going to slow down.